Hi everyone and welcome along to day 9, the 9th of December. Let's see what's behind our door. A cardinal bird, a lovely Christmassy bird that I've only recently learned about and I'm really enjoying painting. So grab your paints and let's get started. So I was actually painting some cardinal birds on the regular YouTube channel. Doing them in a very loose watercolour style, and I thought I'd just do them in a tiny bit more detail for you. So we've got a little sort of rounded shape, and I've just done a curve at the top because the head then sort of sits on the top with a wonderful plumage, and in there we can get the beak, then a little wing, and then a little tail, and then we'll have a nice little branch. And the legs always come right from the back of the bird. So we've got our pencil drawn in. We're definitely going to need cadmium red. So just wake that up, get it in the palette. I think a bit of yellow, the Gamboge Hue. I must say, the good thing with pans of watercolour, as you can see here, my brush was still a little bit red when it went into the yellow, is you can very easily just sort of wipe off the top and clean your palette off without too much trouble. I'll get a little bit of pink, that might be useful. And then a bit of burnt sienna definitely for the wing. Then we'll be wanting some Payne's grey for the very dark colouring around the beak. Okay. I've got my size 0 brush. I'm going to begin by painting in the body. I've been quite a recent, I've only recently learned about cardinal birds because they're not that common. I don't think they're common at all actually in the UK. And of course they are the Christmas bird in America, isn't that right? Maybe further afield, Canada maybe? Do tell me, I'd love to know. But they're amazing. So I've just added a little bit of Alizarin Crimson there, and then we'll get the plumage in, and I'm just going to sort of bring it up close to the beak, but we'll be adding in a bit of Payne's grey there, but I will just add in the wing. Okay. So taking the Payne's grey, and it's just going to bleed a little bit, but not too much, because that's the beauty of this kind of paper. It's a more of a hot pressed type of paper, so it doesn't sort of lend itself to massively sort of big bleeds and blends. And then I'm going to just do that little branch. I'm just going to let that dry, and then we can add our detail. Okay, that's dried really nicely. I'm going to get my smaller brush, and I'm just going to mix in a little bit of red to that because I want to just add a few little flamey feathers. Down the front and in the plumage. And then just a tiny bit of Payne's grey into the burnt sienna for our wing. I think it just adds a nice little bit of depth to the bird. The beak is more of an orange colour. I do like to add just a tiny bit of the red to it. And then for the branch, we could have a few berries. Just sort of floating about. And I think a few leaves as well. It doesn't need to be holly leaves, it could just be some regular leaves, so I'll get my slightly larger brush back and get some sap green and pop a bit of the Payne's grey into it just to knock it back a little bit. And I'm just sort of squashing the brush down and flicking it to get the thin and thick of the brush. And it makes a lovely simple little leaf. Now we've just got to do the eye and the legs. So Payne's grey and 3 on the front and 1 just poking over the back. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 just in behind there. And we'll finish it off with a lovely little eye. So we'll just let that dry, rub out the pencil, and we've got our Cardinal for the 9th of December. The pencil's all rubbed out, and you know me, I can't help myself. I love a little bit more detail, so I'm just adding a few leaf lines just in Payne's grey, and just a little bit of Payne's grey on the branch. I just always think there's always something more you can do. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that one. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.